extends out more towards what would be not so much the turnaround, but where the ledge is in terms of the grassy area. So in other words, the path that still goes around, that new addition shouldn't affect it because it's more towards the left hand of the diagram we're looking at right now. And it just swings around the front and does go around, so that way emergency vehicles should still be able to go around.
They should be able to come out here.
So that existing road will remain as it is.
Right, nothing's going to be taken off.
It's not configured in your diagram.
No, it's just not shown.
Right, okay.
But you have to have fire access.
Oh, of course.
That's what they want.
So then what you're saying is that the extension will not come out beyond the existing road?
That's correct.
That's correct, where the turnaround is, right.
Okay, thank you. Well, the turnaround is at
This is
the
the front of
right.
the building.
Right.
There's a grass area currently here now. That's-
There is, and there's also road and asphalt and pavement.
That's what we're concerned about. Our home abuts that road. So we're trying to determine if that little road that goes around the school remaining coming into that.
I can show you if I may. It comes here and goes around.
Right,
up
right.
the
Santiago, is it the current roadway that is here, is it going to be bumped out any farther, or is it
Well,
exactly remain where it
I
is
mean,
on the
basically,
line?
the space that is between the addition and the property line, it is substantially larger than the space between the existing school and the property line. So if you can get by one, you should be able to get by the other one easier.
It's not going to be a paved roadway around here, but it will be access if a fire vehicle needs to get around.
Okay, so then you're going to pull out the asphalt that's there, basically.
Yes.
What's here, right,
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
right.
You mentioned ledge. Yes, there's a lot of ledge there. Being in a butter, we worry a little bit about damage to the property. And I wonder what provisions will be made to eliminate the possibility of damage to adjoining property.
What do you mean damage? Are you thinking
Well,
there's
I'm worried
glass?
about blasting where there's so much ledge.
We are not doing
No.
blasting.
No.
If
No.
anything is going to be excavated and cut, you may notice that the building, if you pay close attention, there's a ramp coming up.
Right.
So essentially what we're doing is putting that addition a little higher so that the amount of ledge will be, disturbed will be diminished that way.
Okay.
And we anticipate absolutely no blasting.
Okay, thank you.
Fred, did you have a comment? Any other questions?
I'm just concerned about floors. Not only are there major stress cracks, but every day there are tiles coming up everywhere, so I just want to make it known to the people who are in the building every day that all the floors do need to be replaced, regardless of how much moving around to do a room, because the custodian collects them daily in a bag if you want to see them, because they have asbestos and they have to treat them as such. So I hate to see that the floors cut down to just certain areas of the
No,
building.
it's in the plans that every tile within the building, every floor tile will be replaced. I'm correcting that, Mrs. Vaca, aren't I?
That's in the plan,
Yeah.
unless we're given a directive to start reducing the dollar amount, it is in the plan.
Well, I'm hoping if you reduce the dollar amount that you look at a place because
Right.
it's really bad.
That's a serious
That's important to
problem.
hear.
Right. Yes, sir.
Curious, so if there's asbestos there, we have provision for air control when we do the asbestos? removal?
Yes, yes, it has to be, the EPA has to come in and test the air quality before anyone can come back into the building.
Do you want to elaborate on that, Santiago?
Yes, well, I mean, there's asbestos that is a friable nature that is airborne and that it is very well controlled by the EPA. Other asbestos, like the one that exists on the floor tiles, they're a lot easier to remove. Basically, what you can do is split them and they pop up and you can pick them up and throw them away. You don't throw them away in the dump, you throw them away in a specific asbestos-containing location. But there's not friable material thrown around. After you do all that, then you still have to test the air and control the quality. So there's not, an issue of having asbestos running around. No one can move into the building until it's been tested.
John?
Say something about the acoustic acoustics and the sound deadening of the music room, because people are in the art room, and then I listen to a butters over here, so the windows are open, they're gonna be complaining, there's a lot of noise, so I'd like to know, is it just regular concrete, is gonna some kind of acoustical feeling in the dead of the sound? You got children in the art room, the biggest distraction for an artist is somebody was hanging on the drum.
But, and one thing you may want you notice, it is that between the music and the art room, there's a storage. So there will be at least a double wall separating those two areas. The music room itself, it is designed to have rooms that to have walls which are not perpendicular to each other, so that the sound doesn't bounce, so that it is diluted along the way. And also it will have a fair amount of, it's intended to have some character, it's intended to have acoustical tiles so that the sound will be absorbed as he bounces along.
This is Jan Crotty from TLCR. I'm just going to explain to you the next drawing that we put up here.
These are sort of the elevations that we saw as an image that could happen for this school. And if I could compare these to the model, and what you're looking at here is the front wing of the original building. And this is the added slope roof to the original. And what we would like to do is diminish the window. Right now, the window goes right up to the underside of the roof. And it's kind of got a factory look to it. So we thought we'd like to pull that down and give a little depth. And this is the new addition. And so we'd like to tie it in with the same materials, or a mixture of materials. And so this is the specialized rooms, the classrooms of art, music, and the library. And this is a vertical element which would also serve as a stack for the film that exists in the art room. And this is the bump out of the administrative wing. And this is the existing cafetorium and kitchen. But basically what these are showing are, in this elevation here, this is looking at the side, and that is their concern about the ledge and blasting, and this is the raised elevation to try and eliminate that, the blasting, cutting away the ledge. And this is the side entrance of the existing old part of the school with the sloped roof. And everything will remain the same. And we'll try and tie the connecting link between the old building and the new building. It will look similar to the link that's back here now in the existing. So we're changing it, but we're trying to keep it as much the same as possible. We're trying to tie it in and, not change it drastically, but as you can see, it is changing it. And this elevation is looking at this courtyard side. We'd like to try and turn this into a courtyard area. As you come in, the students will be able to enter, and they'll be covered from both sides. A drop-off point here on a bus drop-off. We'll flatten this curve. You'll be able to see it better here. Flatten this curve so we can stack a couple of buses here, and the students can enter in here. This is the courtyard that I'm talking about. So this would be the elevation from the courtyard side, looking at the library and the jut out of the art room. But basically, we're trying to keep the materials the same and add a little interest to this building that's very flat and monolithic kind of linear.
The object that looks like a bell tower from underneath here. I'm hitting a bell tower. What is its purpose?
We're using that as an exhaust for the kiln. And also it's a vertical element to, as you know, as you've been to the school, you drive up to it and you really don't see anything because of the topographical hills that happen in here. So you drive up and you kind of you're not very directed. You're not, so the first thing you see when you drive through the school, I have never been here before, that was my first, which way do I go? And what's the first thing you see but this kitchen, or this service entrance? So we're trying to direct people more towards the front of the building where you want to go, where a visitor or children want to go. And so we're trying to bring some elements, architectural elements that will draw you to that part of the school.
So we have a kiln, I hear you say a kiln?
Yes, yes.
That's part of the class,
Yes,
How the art class.
art class.
no flammables in there?
John Tacone.
Like
There's
you're
one in the
placing
little,
something in the middle of the-
there's also
Just
one,
asking.
there's one in the little school that was built into the little school.
That doesn't mean it's safe, I mean.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it
It's all
is
been
safe.
checked by the fire department.
It's part of the new frameworks for art, John. We use the frameworks in our programming, and art calls for more than just crayons and paper. There has to be more dimension and more for kids to do, just as the music also calls for dance, for music and dance. So that is part of the framework.
Paraphrasing statement, statement you made was, in the front, we intend to use some different materials. So my question is, from the school committee, do we have standards what we want in these buildings? I mean, do we want all brick in our buildings like we got over the other school? Are they gonna have a mixture of wood, plastic, vinyl, et cetera? I'd like to know what they meant by it. We're gonna
Well, I
have
think the
different materials.
architecture, what you see here is that it will blend with the current structure, which is brick, just as the little school, the new addition, blended with the existing structure. We don't have any plans to completely change the facade of any one of the buildings or mix and match different elements, other than the windows. Brad, good question? Are there any other questions?
Joanne, what is the material plan? Is it a split face, block, or combination?
It is intended to be brick.
It is intended to be.
Yes.
John?
Guess I'm asking myself right now, the marketing, I mean, as I sit here, remember, I don't have any kids, I try to help yourself things, but here's what's going on with the school is head. Where are the state and school people? Are they in the room tonight? Don't answer my question.
What state?
Are there any people from the little school here? Raise your hand. Okay. But the feeling is, they got theirs, so what do we care about the wood school? I live over in the district and I'm surrounded by a lot of bachelor parents, with some of them in here. The wood school parents that sit here, they're saying, finally, we're gonna get this thing squared away. I looked at Jeff Simmons' data, you did too. When I went to vote, where the schools were, those were the districts that didn't vote. So, to carry this, you've got to be realistic. I mean, you've got to do some more marketing. What I heard the other night, although the presentation was the television fault, it was sepia and things, but it's great, believe me, I know a lot of people doing a lot of work, but a lot of words were mentioned about Mr. Perry and the teacher's input, and, you know, it sounded like this whole emphasis was the fact that we were reacting to their inputs. So I'm sitting there saying to myself, that's wonderful, but they're not paying the bills. The presentation began with, we only need 2 classrooms, so you gotta explain why we're putting this big addition on it. It's more than 2 classrooms. That's what the diagram says. Now, there's no correlation between the excellent, outstanding scores of the North Reading school system between those in bricks and mortar. Understand what I'm going to say. We didn't get 1/5 state aid, and we got all this wonderful results. So please don't go in saying, oh, we put all this wonderful thing in here, we're going to have a better educational system. And it's going to fly right in your face. We got all these results by just putting some windows in the back of the school and models. That's all just the swelling side. So Don't go and say, gee, with kids' grades, they're gonna get up